Hey, it's Rob Wog. I'm still talking shit. Now we're here with the one and only Ross the Boss. How are you, brother?
I'm fine. Good to be here.
Fuck, I'm so excited. Actually, I'm gonna grab it. Excited for this.
Yeah,
I
I like it.
know. I just did an interview with the Rods and Lips from Anvil, and we're so excited. It's like a big heavy metal '80s past party.
It's going to be good.
Oh,
I spoke to a lot of people. They're very excited for the event,
yeah,
and of course, I've been there twice, and it was very exciting for me to be there twice.
yeah.
I guess it was exciting once. That's why I was back twice. So,
In
but
fact, I'll correct you on that. You've been here 3 times.
oh, that's true. That's true.
It's
That's
that
true. Once
bad.
with the dictator. That's right. And I have it to know from good sources that the dictators might be back to Australia
That's right.
because we're surging. We're surging. We are. We just
Yeah.
did an amazing Euro tour. Of new records out, new singles out, and we got gigs this coming. I got a gig Friday, gig Sunday. So it's doing good.
Yeah, man. That's the
Yeah,
first time I met you. Was at the Dictator show.
yeah.
Oh man, I seriously can't tell you enough. Like the Dictators to me growing up were just, it's one of those things too. That have you heard of the band called Turbo Negro from
Of course,
yeah.
of course.
So you know what I'm about to say. They ripped off one of your songs, right? Which,
Totally ripped it off
yeah, yeah, heavily ripped it off. So you've
with our
influenced bands.
with our blessings. I mean, listen. So many bands, hundreds of bands have gone to school on the dictators.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
it's I could like. I mean, I'm listening to bands. I'm going, isn't that? I mean, it's like, but
I
it's
love it.
cool. It's the flattery.
Yeah.
It's the best form of flattery imitation. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean,
yeah.
what were you guys? You were young in the Dictators back then. You would have been what, in your teenage years?
18,
Wow. Yeah, it's
19.
crazy. It's crazy. And I love. Actually, I'm gonna ask you about this because after that, I bought this record I'm about to show you, and I didn't know. I knew nothing about it. I think I bought it at Amoeba. I'm not too sure. And I just bought it and I was like, this looks cool. And what a great
Yeah.
record. And I didn't know that you were on this record until I looked on the back and I was like, Ross the Boss is on this record. And I actually think, is that you jumping in the air right there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if
That
anyone,
was in LA. That was at the Starwood. That was at the Starwood in LA.
wow.
That's my leg, and that's my black Converse sneaker, almost up to her belly button. So those are the days I had some ups in my game.
If anyone hasn't heard that record or the Dictators, you need to check it out because
Yeah.
and ultimately, you know what? And it's funny. I was talking to Kyle Kennedy from the Rods, and you told me that he played on the first Manowar record. Sorry, first Manowar demo. Sorry, and
That's right.
ultimately led to this record, which is just like this record. Like you're talking about the Dictators making a dent in music. Wow, like that to me was
Yeah.
a huge, huge dent in metal, like massive dent in metal that heaps of people were just like, wow, what's that? You know?
It
And
was it was the start of a lot of things. It was the start of a new a new vision, a new force in music called power metal. Uh, you know, you know,
it's funny. I've interviewed a few bands that have done those sort of albums, and they always say they don't realize they're doing it at the time. I mean, did you know that it was going to be what it was when you were doing it? You know what I mean?
I knew. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Joey and I knew that our imagery and the messages we were putting out were strong. Were really strong.
Yeah.
But we didn't realize how strong it was. you know, and it just for some reason it's embedded itself in Europe and Eastern Europe
Yeah.
and other places. In America, not so much. America in
Really?
pockets. Yeah,
Wow.
because yeah, they can't play. They can't play and demand the same money they get in Europe.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
and I have my own reasons for why that happened because we didn't tour enough in America. We
Right.
didn't tour enough, and while the buzz was on, we let Metallica, Anthrax, Testament,
Yeah.
all other bands tour and get all the freaking jack, and but no, but Manowar is Manowar.
Yeah, I know. But it became a movement, right? It really did. But I actually think like, and I'm not just saying this, and I've said this to you before, and this is the truth. And I know I'm not speaking alone on this, but as soon as you left that band, it was no longer that band.
Well,
And
thank you for
no
saying that.
disrespect to them, no disrespect to them, but that's a lot of people feel the same way.
Well, please don't say that because you're talking to me. I hope.
No, you know that.
Okay. No, but my style and my sound and my songwriting, yeah, they never got that back. I mean,
No, they lost the mojo. Yeah, that's funny. But even with the stuff you're doing now with Ross the Boss Band, it's like the extension of that to me. You know what I mean? It's really like it's doing.
Yeah, I mean,
to me, it's better than what they're doing now. But
well, that's very nice to hear that. But I'm continually doing what I've always done, working in the kind of the punk hard rock genre and then the metal genre. And the reason for this is that I work every single day.
Yeah.
And I don't take any days off. And seriously, I mean, to work here, I do what I have to do, put out records, do interviews, do whatever I have to do, and I always got this handy.
Yeah.
This baby.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, it's just hard work, but that's what it is. I mean,
yeah.
I think that if any musician thinks he's going to go make it and not bust his ass, I think he's sorely mistaken. Especially these days, it's even harder, and even harder for young bands, which it's kind of sad. But hard work pays off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my work ethic.
Yeah. I want to take us back to the Dictators days when you was playing CBGBs and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like because I grew up on punk as well, punk tattooed on my lip, but CBGBs and the Marquee in London, they're pinnacle punk moments, you know what I mean? And it's just like, and you lived that life. I mean, what was it like for you then? You know what I mean? It must have been amazing.
CB's, that whole era was amazing because all of a sudden it went from nothing to like Patti Smith and Tom Verlaine found this place on the Lower East Side, and it was just, I mean, this guy Hilly Crystal, and he got them to start letting bands play, and once bands started playing, and once people started really going there, it just never stopped. It was just like, and then the bands started coming in. We came in, we played CBGB's 36 times.
Wow.
Yeah, the Dictators played CBG, and we played the final weekend of CBGB's. We played the last Friday and Saturday of CBGB's, and Patti Smith played Sunday because she's not punk really, and she's cool, she's great, and so we did. I mean, it was like the scene was amazing because everybody was coming from everywhere. The Dead Boys came from Cleveland. The Talking Heads came from other parts of. There was really only two homegrown bands in New York City.
Yep.
And one of them was the Ramones,
yep.
and the other band was the Dictators.
Wow.
Yeah. So, everybody else was imported.
Well, they heard about this place and they just had to come over, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was a great scene. It really was a great scene. And then once bands started getting signed out of there, man, it was like a tsunami of bands coming in there to get signed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? I
So
think the footage of you guys playing CBGBs. I think you're doing the cover of Seek and Destroy.
Search and Destroy.
Search and Destroy. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
That's some great footage right there.
Yeah, that we did that. I remember we played the Palladium. We headlined the Palladium.
Right.
And then and it was an amazing, listen to this show. Listen to this. We headlined the Palladium.
Yeah.
And the two opening acts, right, was this band from Cleveland, the Michael Stanley Band. And then there was this other band, unknown band called AC/DC.
Wow.
And they opened up for us at the Palladium.
Wow.
Right? And Scott and we were like, I was standing on the side of the stage. I remember it clearly as day. I'm standing on the side of the stage. I'm like, I'm hitting him. I'm like, Scott. He goes, I know. It's like this. I said, this is the real deal. And then they pack their shit up. They pack their stuff up, and they go to CBGB's to play another show.
Wow.
So they opened for us. They packed their stuff up on 14th Street and went down to CBGB's and played another show. And they write about it in their blogs.
Wow.
And then 2 weeks later, we opened for them in the Cleveland at the Agora. And I told everybody, I said, they will never open for us again. I guarantee you. I was right. I was fucking right.
Right.
We played a lot of shows. We played a lot of shows with AC/DC.
Yeah.
And Thin Lizzy. And Cheap Trick. Yeah, we played a ton of shows. Yeah.
Wow. It's never going to be, is it ever going to be like that again? Yeah. I
don't know.
Different time.
I don't know. I don't see the talent. I don't see the groups coming up. I mean, there are. I do hear from young musicians that are very talented, but I'm not hearing waves of musicians.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing of the waves of great guitar players. I mean, like when I started, it was everything. I was a blues guitar player. I mean, that was just the way that I had to be. That was the only thing that I loved, was listening to B.B. King and Clapton and that was my thing. That was my thing. Blues when I started, and even though George Harrison was a great rocker, he was more like a Carl Perkins.
Yeah.
To me, that was his idol. But my idol was B.B. King and the Three Kings. So growing up, and I'm like, so like my thing is, I try to play slow. I really do.
Yeah.
To me, slower is better. While everybody else blowing their brains out on guitars, trying to play as fast as possible, I'm trying to play as slow as possible. But you have to play fast at times, because that's the times we live in.
Yeah.
And I can play fast. Believe me, I can get it going. Yeah. But I mean, I think to play slow like David Gilmour, now that's the art. That's the art of guitar.
Yeah.
Like Mick Ronson and David Gilmour and Buck Dharma and so many great guitar players.
Yeah. I mean,
Peter Green.
I mean, there's that saying too, like you can learn to play fast, but you can't learn to play feel. Feel comes from within, right? Like you just,
right.
That's just it.
Yeah.
I mean, David Gilmour is just one of those people that's just.
Oh, geez. It tears your fucking heart. It tears your fucking heart out listening to that guy. I mean, it's just perfect. It's like his solos are so perfect, you can eat off it. I mean, you can like dine. You could dine off the. It's like amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like it's funny because I think when heavy metal first started, it started off blues. Like your Sabbath, your Deep Purples. It was blues, and then it became more classical. Like dun dun dun. It became, and that's when it got.
Yeah, I mean, Black Sabbath was their first inversion of Black Sabbath was Earth, which was they were called Earth, which is they were a blues band, and Jethro Tull was a blues band. All these bands were blues bands because that's what you had to be. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
Savoy Brown, Fleetwood Mac. I mean, all these great. But they all had one thing in common. They all had one guitar star.
Yeah.
They had to have it. They had to have it. So you got to be able to stand up there and represent.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But I just noticed I was just looking through some of these records I've got here. But I remember as a kid there was this one metal station. I can't remember what it was called now in the 80s, like early 80s. And I would just tape it at night and then fall asleep. And in the morning I'd wake up and I'd cut it, and then I'd cut out all the talking and just have the music. And I remember I just didn't know who the bands were. One day I walked into a music store and I saw this.
Oh,
my favorite, which you signed this. I don't know if you can see it there. When I met you at
oh yeah.
yeah. But I mean, when this came out, I bought it for I've never heard of Manowar. I bought it for the album cover, which you do as a kid, right? You take a punt. And I brought it home and I realized some of those songs on those stations that was off this record, and I was like, that's who it is. And that was it. And then I bought everything. But to me, that was a movement. When this came out in Australia, I remember all of it, because it was like there was 2 record stores in Melbourne where I'm from, and everyone used to just migrate there and just hang out until late at night, and then we'd go to a show, but we'd all buy records, And it was like a movement back then. And when this came out, it was definitely a movement. Like this was just like so different to what we're listening to. Like that's nothing like Anthrax. It's nothing like Slayer. It stood on its own. You know what I mean? And it blew everyone's mind. What a record.
We always thought that starting that Denim and Leather, I mean Saxon, all those bands, people go, why don't you wear leather and denim? I go, so we're not that. We're not, we told people, we're just not that. I said Animal Skins is a lot wilder, killing it, it's like it's a lot more brutal and wilder than Denim and Leather, as much as I like Denim and Leather. But so we were coming from a much different spot than those bands. And but that record, Hail to England, was, I mean, not that Sign of the Hammer, not that Into Glory Ride was a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But that record really started to congeal, started to come together of the Manowar ideas. Because that session we recorded most of Sign of the Hammer as well. So those are back in the day. Those are back in the days that we had plenty of songs, and it was never a problem. Between Joey and I, it was never a problem of songs. People would call us like the Lennon and McCartney of metal songwriting, because we did 6 records in 6 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Think of that. Now, how many have they done after that?
Yeah.
13 years between records.
True.
So, but my production is good.
Yeah. Oh man, that record was just, like I said, it was a movement. It became a movement.
Yeah. Army of the Immortals, right? That was a good one, right? Bridge of Death.
Bridge of Death, Killed by Power. Oh my God, what a record!
You guys will be hearing
song itself.
You guys will be hearing Kill the Power again when we come, I think.
Oh, excellent. But yeah, it's just funny, like I was saying to even Rods and Anvil, like it's, like there's, you 3 bands did something in the heavy metal movement. Like you did it on your own too. You were all very different, like you were very different. Yep. And you all did it. But what I was saying is, you can show kids today, and kids, it's a testament of time, because kids today are now listening to this stuff and it holds up. It really, really does hold,
Well, you do know that the Carl from the Rods was the original Manowar drummer.
Yeah.
He played on the demo.
Yeah.
The Battle Hymn demo that got us signed.
I know.
That got us signed to my friends in EMI, New York. But he would never join Manowar. It was just we couldn't understand it. I mean, we wanted him to join so bad, but that's what led us to Scott Columbus. So
yeah, but he in the interview, he was saying those were such good times being in Manowar. He loved it. He loved it. It was
Yeah.
just good memories. Great memories.
We wish he stayed.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, he went on to produce some good records too. Like,
Yeah.
he did Anthrax, Spreading the Disease. You know what I mean?
I produced the first single that got them signed.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I produced Soldiers of Metal.
Wow!
Right? Because until then they weren't signed. They were like bothering John Z. They were hunting him down in gas stations and just like haunting him. Scotty it was like, and then finally John Z broke down and goes, "Listen, you go get Ross the Boss and let him produce some songs for you, and come back to me after that." So Scott calls me up. We go into the studio. We record Soldiers of Metal, and they get signed.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. Bet you didn't know that either, did you?
No, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all, the metal scene back then, it was all tight knit, right? Even in Australia, it was, everyone played in everyone's band, it was just fun. It was fun times.
Well, because we were young, dumb, full of cum.
For sure.
I can't believe I just said that.
It's the truth, right? It's the truth.
It was the truth, though. It was.
Yeah.
We had some good times.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I didn't even know that you didn't really tour. Manowar didn't really tour America. That's crazy to think that.
It was the biggest mistake, mistake ever made, probably, and that was on Joey DeMeo.
Wow.
I told him, Joey, we don't need all our equipment. He goes, we have to have all our gear, brother. I go, we don't have to have all our gear. Let's get a small truck, put 2 stacks each, our clothes, and let's go the fuck playing. Okay? We have to get out there and playing right now.
Wow.
Like yesterday. And I'm just making myself happy.
Yeah.
Making the music that I want to make. I'm not second guessing a market or second guessing a group of people.
Yeah.
I just do what makes me happy.
Yeah.
And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, go fuck yourself. Can't please everybody. That's the one thing you got to tell young musicians.
Yeah.
You can't please everybody, and don't kill yourself trying.
Yeah.
Because you can.
What's that saying? You got to love yourself first before anyone else will love you. You can relate that with music. You got to believe in what you're playing, otherwise no one else is going to believe it.
Right. I see some young bands and they put out their first record and they get a bad review, and I go, dudes, and they're like crushed. And I go, guys,
yeah,
you could take that review and burn it and shove it right up your. I mean, you know what I'm saying? How many reviews? You're going to get bad ones. You're going to get great ones. You're going to get, in the same day. It's like if you let that stuff as a musician or an artist, if you let that stuff guide you and your emotions, you're going to be like, it's going to be like a fucking roller coaster of emotions being a musician. I said, just read the good reviews. That's all. Yeah.
I know. But I sometimes like, I like some bad reviews. You know what I mean? I remember back in the day, I used to play in a death metal band called Earth. And for some reason, the record label at the time sent it to this like magazine that just doesn't review or talk about any type of metal, not even heavy metal. And the review, someone sent me the review. It's so bad that I posted it everywhere because it's hilarious.
Yeah. Did you know that Kiss's fans were so into them, they would burn their bad reviews in front of them.
Wow.
They would torch their bad reviews in front of them.
Wow. I mean,
and God knows Kiss got some bad reviews from the beginning.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
So you would have seen early moments of Kiss, right, in New York?
Absolutely.
Wow. When was the first time you saw Kiss?
We knew them.
Wow.
First of all, Ace Frehley and I went to the same college,
Wow. Right.
Herbert Lehman College in the Bronx, and we dropped out at the same time. Because I remember him.
Had a part of that.
I remember that guy, big tall motherfucker, always walking around with beer. always walking around with beer. He always had a beers. And so Kiss, there was at one point there was only 3 bands that had record contracts in New York City.
Yeah.
It was Kiss, the New York Dolls, and the Dictators.
Wow.
Back in the day. And so then Kiss played the Daisy. They started playing around, and everybody goes, "You got to see this." You got to see this. They started blowing shit off in clubs. You know, we played the Coventry. We played the Coventry. Dolls played the Coventry. That was way before Max's Kansas City.
Yeah.
Way before Max's Kansas City. Hold on. You were saying?
Yeah, we're talking about Kiss and
Yeah.
been playing their early shows. It's just crazy.
Yeah, that was the 3 bands that had record contracts for a while, and that was like 74.
Wow.
74. Because Dictators Grow Crazy came out in 75.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was amazing. It was an amazing time in New York.
Yeah.
Even before CBGBs, before all that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's incredible. Wow, when I think of it.
It's good memories, right? It's called making memories. That's what you did back then.
Yep, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. It's sort of sad these days, for kids today that are starting in bands, like it's just everything's just so exposed. It's hard to be original these days. I mean, everything's being done. Actually, I was talking to Carl from the Rods the other day, and we're talking about how fast music's become. It's almost become so fast, it's almost a note.
Yeah, it's a blur. I don't
a blur.
Yeah. You listen to it. I mean, yeah, I mean, look, if you like it, that's all that matters. That's what I tell the kids.
I can appreciate watching it because it's funny to watch, someone doing something like that. But I also said, and like what kids were when we were in the 70s, you aspired to, your Jeff Becks and Blackmores and stuff like that, Gilmore. But kids today, what they're aspiring to is so fast. I don't know what their generation's going to bring to the table in the next, say, 10, 20 years. Like, how fast can it get?
How fast can a computer go?
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah.
There's your answer.
Yeah. Wow.
Your answer. Until they won't even need a drummer. They won't have to walk on stage with drummers.
Yeah.
Walk on stage with drum machines.
Yeah, it'll be like nostalgic to have a band.
Yeah. I mean, so what's the tempo?
How do you even move to that? Yeah.
I just do my own thing. The Dictators do our own thing. And we just make ourselves happy. And, you know, that's it. That's what matters to us. And keeping it to the point, keeping it real.
It's funny because
I don't.
Music makes you move, right? Music makes you move, right, Ross? Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, in the 70s, it made you sort of, do this. Through the 80s, it sort of made you do this, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But at some point, you can't be doing more than that, right? So beyond that...
Well, the thing, I said it in two parts. Music, there's lower half music.
Yep.
There's the lower half music from your belly button down. And then from your belly button up, there's upper music.
Yep.
Okay? That music. So, the music from your lower music, that's sex music. That's the music that's the music that I want to play. That music. The upper music is like the thrash is like, it's like it's not very, there's just, those are the shows with no girls at, and it's just like, I just no part of that music.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's funny when you think back at like the 70s disco era, even like the Commodores and stuff like that. I'm a huge Commodores fan. They were the girls, man. Like,
oh my God, forget it. It was amazing. I don't want to be I don't want to be at Sausage Fest. Forget it.
100%. But I'll give it this though. That now going to shows, you do see more women, more girls.
Yes.
Which is great,
Yes.
great. But yeah, definitely in the 80s and like 2000s, it was just
It was the 80s was loaded with women.
Maybe in America.
Oh, in the 80s it was. In the 80s it was great. It was like 50-50 blend. But then when metal got really techno and thrashy, and I mean, girls don't want to go there and see people, guys beat each other up. They didn't want to see that.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
But but the 80s was the best. 70s and 80s. I'm glad I lived through it.
Yeah.
Glad I was an artist in the 70s. Glad I was an artist in the 70s and the 80s.
It's funny. I had an argument with a friend because I'm a massive vinyl collector, but so is he. But I always said, I collect 8-track cassettes, and he was saying, and I said, 8-track had only had a lifespan of like not that long. It started, I think, in 1968, and it finished in 1987. And I said, that's the era of music I like. I don't care about anything else.
Well, let's face facts. 60s, 70s, 80s were great. Even like the last half of the 50s was great. 60s, 70s, 80s, fantastic music. Fantastic. And 90s.
Yeah.
90s started to suck really bad. I mean, the 90s was, to me, was vomit worthy.
I think the 2000s were worse. I thought the 2000s were worse. But it's really hard, and I don't want to sound like I'm just an old guy that just you young kids, music was better then. But I feel today, I feel like the kids today are agreeing with us.
They are agreeing. You see, I kind of missed the 2000. My son was born 2001, and so I kind of lost track of what was going on. Yeah. All I was concentrating on was my son. So it worked out well.
Yeah, but I like I was saying, like, with vinyl, like I think that it is going back because now vinyl is outselling every other platform. It outsells CDs now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the greatest hits that AFM put together. There's 3 songs from each of my 4 records.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to bring some of them to Australia?
I'll try to.
Yeah. That looks sick.
Yeah.
And who did all your art?
Mark.
Yeah, I thought it was. It looks like Mark's art. Yeah.
It's really Mark.
Yeah.
Pretty good, right?
Right. Yeah. Wow. Oh my God. Fun times. Yeah. Like, I mean, I could talk music forever, and you're the same because you're a music head just like I am. I'm not. I don't consider us metalheads. We're music heads, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's other things. I'm like heavily into a lot of other music than metal. As a matter of fact, I don't really listen to heavy metal. As if I'm going to put on something like for the end of the day, I'm at the end of working, then I busted my ass, pour myself a vodka and club soda and lemon. What do I put on? Am I going to put on Voivod? No. Am I going to put on BB King Live at the Regal? Yes. Am I going to put on The Who Sell Out? Yes.
Yeah.
Am I going to put out, not to say anything bad about Voivod, but they're good guys.
Cool.
But that's the kind of thing that I would do. I would put on revisit, Eric Clapton and the Blues Breakers, a little Cream action. I would put on Testament. I like Testament. I like Metallica's Black Album. I love that record. I love those guys. I do.
Yeah.
But Manowar fans were, how could you like that? Yeah, fuck that. I like that. It's good shit. I like what I like. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Mm.
So what are you listening to? What have you heard recently that you're liking at the moment? Whether it's old or new. You know, sometimes.
Well, I'm not up. As I said, I'm really not up on new music because I used to do a show. We used to do Give Me Metal, Give Me Radio. It was an online thing, and I had a show every 2 weeks.
All right.
Online. I did 200 shows, and it went bankrupt for some. You know, it was terrible. But what I listen to I listen to the stuff that I've grown up on. You know, it won't change. It just won't. You know, Bolt Thrower, Brian. Listen to this. Blue Oyster Cult, Blue Coupe, Blue Cheer, Brain Surgeons, Bryan Adams, The Byrds, Cactus, Canned Heat, The Carter Family, Celine Dion, Chicago, Cream, Crystal Viper, Danzig, David Lee Roth. You know, you get it? I mean, you know.
I do get it.
The Eagles, The Doors, The Electric Flag. You know. Empires of Eden from Stu. You know, I listen to different stuff, Fleetwood Mac, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of metal stuff, but there's a lot of metal stuff that I'm just not aware of, and I'm sure it's very good. It's not that I'm just not. I don't have enough time. I just don't have enough time to listen to take in everything that I should.
It's
but
funny.
when I had my show, I had my Give Me Metal show, Dean programmed a lot of the music for me, a lot of the new music.
Right.
And I got to listen to it, and it was very good. A lot of it, yeah. So.
Yeah, and it's like, it's funny. Like Alice Cooper has his radio show. I don't know if he still does that. I don't know if he still does it. But when he was doing it, he was playing all the classics. You know what I mean? And that was popular. That got popular because that music holds up today.
Yes. Dave Mustaine had a show on Give Me Metal too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I kind of miss it. I really miss it. I do. Oh well.
Yeah.
But as what I'm saying, I'm going to tell you what. I'm not a man of wild boasting.
Yeah.
But when we hit Australia, we are going to really fucking annihilate the crowd.
Awesome.
And they know it. They know what's coming too, because they've seen it. But the band is even better. Yeah. So I have a new rhythm section, and it's amazing.
Oh, awesome, man! Like, there's a huge excitement on this tour, and I can't believe it's like this either. I don't know how it just happened that way, that all three bands come together, and it's just going to be such a fucking killer show. You know what I mean? It's exciting.
I think the promoter might have had something to do with that.
You know. You know what it goes back to? It goes back to, I just want to fucking bring out bands that I want to see. It's not about making money, because I can do that other way. I want, even though it does make money, but like, it's just, I want to bring out the bands I want to fucking see.
Yeah, man. I know the Rods and Anvil, they're thrilled. I know they're thrilled to come to us.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. It really is.
I know, and to have you all in the one place at the same time, it's just it's going to be like an explosion.
I mean, to me, I said, do I need other bands to play? No, I don't. But I mean, it's cool though. It's cool because it's like, yeah, I see it. Yeah, it's going to be for the fans. It's going to be unbelievable for the fans of the people that like that kind of stuff. It's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, for sure.
After all these years to see those two bands, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
And the man giving them the opportunity.
You're right. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Look, man. Like I don't know what else to talk about. We could talk about metal all fucking day, right? But I love hearing about.
I'm surprised you didn't ask me the number one question.
What's that? Shit! What have I missed? What have I fucked up on?
Why aren't you in Manowar? And now it's like I get it all the time. What? Why aren't you in Manowar, Rose?
You get asked that a lot, do you?
Every single time.
Wow.
Every single time.
Wow. Who's in it now? It's that dude with the guitar, the twin guitars or something. What's his name?
Michelangelo Badio.
That's right.
But I mean, he's a really sweet guy, a
Yep.
very nice fellow. He
Yep.
really is. But good luck in that band, bro.
I think you're doing way better stuff on your own, man.
Well, it's interesting, that's for sure, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that
Yeah.
you saying that.
No, it's the truth. I mean, listen to Manowar now. Look at their last few albums compared to any of the stuff that you've done in
What's their last?
your own band.
I mean,
I'm not even going to talk about
what is their last? I mean, I'm trying to figure out what is their last record. Well, I don't even.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know.
I know. And no disrespect to them. It's just, I know it's hard, especially with what happened with their last guitar player. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, they had that guy Evie from Brazil.
Yeah.
Who's a nice fellow, and he didn't last long in that band. And you mean Carl?
Yeah. I know, man. I know. And it's going to be hard to bounce back from that,
You can't bounce. He's done. Carl is done in music.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Damn.
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. But like we were saying, you just said, what was their last album? And that's true. Like, I'm a Manowar fan and I don't even know what their last album is. That's why I was saying you're doing better on your own, because the last albums that you did on your own as Ross the Boss are way better than what they were doing.
Thank you for saying that.
Oh,
I can't say that.
It's the truth. I'm just pointing it out.
I accept it, but it's an opinion. I mean,
Yeah, I know. Because you got your diehard Manowar fans, and it's usually, it's funny, right? It's funny, like when people think something's cool, they're like they'll flock to it, and they don't know what part of that era is cool, but they'll just think that it's all cool, so they'll just love Manowar for just being Manowar, right? And I find that with like people that like heaps of bands like Black Sabbath, you're either Ozzy, Dio, Gillan, they're, and then all, but like some people think it's cool.
As far as Black Sabbath, I'm all of the above.
Yeah, me too.
I'm all of the above. It's going to say Black Sabbath on it, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm right there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Anything with Tony and Geezer on it, I'm there.
I know, right? I wonder if they're going to do anything else together. Not as Black Sabbath, but just something else.
I kind of think they're retired. Yeah, I'd like to see Tony do something. I mean,
yeah.
But what is he? What I mean, after a while, what are you proving? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I agree. But sometimes it's just putting, getting to that age where you're thinking, shit, am I actually going to put the guitar down forever now? You sort of feel like, shit, really? And then you sort of miss it, maybe.
Right. Well, I hope he never does.
Yeah,
truly.
Right. I mean, I'd like to see him do something with Glenn Hughes again.
I mean, there's always something to do. There's always something to do. There's always a song to be written. There's always some shit to be played.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Put
your feet in every little pool. Yeah. I mean, actually, one thing I never spoke about with Death Dealer. You still doing Death Dealer?
As a matter of fact,
there you go. Talk about
we just signed with Massacre Records.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
And there's going to be a new record soon, and they're taking the whole back catalog and redoing it. I think that's what Stu said.
Ah, excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. So it's all good news everywhere. So yeah.
And that's one thing that's never come to Australia either. I think that needs to happen as well.
No, I'm going to try. But I can't have Sean losing money.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
We'll work on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, look, thanks heaps, Ross, for hanging out. It's been a pleasure, always is. But yeah, like I said, we're looking forward to these shows, man. Really looking forward to it. And, I can't wait to hear Kill with Power.
Oh my God. Listen, I hope this isn't the last time I talk to you. And I know it won't be. So I just want to wish everybody happy and healthy, and stay healthy, and stay happy, and stay out of fucking trouble. And when you drink, don't drive, and do your homework when you get home.
Awesome. Thanks, Ross. You take care, mate.